Hey, hi everyone. I'm CA Vijay Kedia. Welcome to my channel. In today's video, we are going to talk about FIRE or financial independence retire early. I got this request from multiple people. They wanted to understand what is FIRE, how they can pursue it, and since I'm personally pursuing it, I just wanted to share my experiences as well. In today's video, we'll first cover what is FIRE. FIRE stands for Financial Independence Retire Early. In FIRE, financial independence part, the FI is mandatory, while retiring early is optional. What is financial independence? So when you are in a situation where you are able to survive without having an active source of income, so all your day-to-day expenses, emergency expenses, all your financial goals are taken care without an active source of income, that stage is called financial independence. The next question is like, how can you pursue it, right? So if you want to pursue FIRE, the first thing which is required is you need to understand your perception of money. How do you perceive money? Is money something which you see as a means to buy some things, or you can meet your day-to-day expenses? Or if you look at money as something which gives you financial freedom. So what is financial freedom? You have more control over your time, so you can do whatever you want, whenever you want, and you don't need to worry about meeting your day-to-day expenses or even emergency expenses. And you can also explore some other things, like it can be your passion, hobbies, or something which you want to start for your own. Those things you can pursue without worrying about money. Right? So if this is something which excites you, it's worth pursuing in that case. And based on my personal experience, I can say that pursuing FIRE is not easy, but it's definitely worth pursuing. That's all I can say from my personal experience. So what are the things you need if you want to pursue FIRE, like financial independence, and then you may or may not retire early, but how to achieve that financial independence, right? So the first thing which you need to achieve financial independence is the financial literacy. It doesn't matter in which field you are working or what is your educational background, since everybody need to deal with money, right? So it always makes sense to have a basic understanding of personal finance. So when I say personal finance, you should understand how the compounding works, right? Because that's a very basic thing. And so and there is a saying that the compounding is something where people who understand it, they earn it, and people who don't, they pay that compounding interest, right? The compounding is very powerful tool. That's something you need to refresh and understand how it works in financial world. And then you also need to have a basic understanding of different type of asset class, what is stocks, mutual fund, real estates, different type of mutual funds, and also taxation related to all these asset classes. So that is something which you need to understand before you can start your journey towards FIRE. Next and very important thing is live debt free, right? And that's a very like an important prerequisites before you start your FIRE journey. How do you become debt free? So you avoid buying things on credit, avoid taking EMIs, personal loans, and credit card loans, which are like very expensive. So if you don't have a house, you can choose to stay in a rented house to avoid taking a home loan at a very starting of your career. And second question is, how do you do that, right? Because everybody seem to be buying something or other. You also feel like, okay, I also need to buy that stuff. But what I personally do is, and something which everybody should follow, is something called utilitarian approach, right? Who is a utilitarian? So somebody who buys things based on their utility. If you're planning to buy something, right, you looked at something and you're planning to buy that thing, then first you need to ask yourself that, do you really need it, right? So, or you are buying just because someone else has purchased it. Also the things which you are purchasing, how frequently you are going to use it, right? So if you do all that analysis, it's not like a big analysis, right? You just need to think before buying that whether I really need it, how frequently I'm going to use it, and I'm not buying just because someone else is buying, right? So that will help you to keep your expenses in control. And I'm not saying you don't do things which you love doing, or you should spend on experiences, right, which can create memories. So those things you should definitely spend your money on, but sometimes we end up spending money on things which we don't need. And if we do a little bit of analysis there, that can help you to avoid that kind of debt trap where you think that buying now is easier because some EMI is available, loan is available, you can buy it on credit card, and later on you get into that debt trap for buying a thing which actually you don't need, right? So that's the first thing you need to do if you want to pursue FIRE, that you need to live debt free, right? Second is save aggressively. If you really want to pursue FIRE, you need to save very aggressively. Ideally, it should be like 50% or more than 50% of your take home which you should be saving. So be ready to hear a lot of criticism around this, because you will be like swimming against the tide. People will say, hey, maybe this guy is miser and it doesn't spend, or and things like that. But what the correct word for this is not miser, it's frugal, right? So where you spend judicially, you think before spending, right? So that your saving can increase. So if you save say 50% or more than 50% of your salary, so that saving should also increase with increase in your income. So for example, if you are earning 1,50,000 is your expenses, you are saving 50,000, and say if your income has become 2 lakhs, it does not mean now you need to spend 1 lakh on your day-to-day expenses, right? Earlier you were spending 50,000, so now maybe you can spend 75,000. You will end up saving 1,25,000. So your saving percentage has increased, your amount has increased, right? So as and when your income increases, you should first think about increasing your saving percentage and the amount, rather than just sticking to one saving percentage, right? And the first milestone towards the financial independence should be that when you have 6 months of your expenses saved in a liquid investment, so maybe in your bank account, FD, or some liquid funds, if you are able to save 6 months of your day-to-day expenses, that can be considered as a first step towards FIRE. So where you have the emergency fund to meet 6 months of your expenses, right? And then the next is, only saving is not enough, right? So that saving also need to be invested so that it can grow. So here what you need to do is, like, whatever saving you are doing, that saving you need to put in equity related funds. So and what I suggest is you go for index fund, like say top 50 or top 100 companies, and where you don't need to pay too much commission to mutual funds, and you can get that advantage of growing with that all large companies. Or you can even consider some flexi cap funds where they invest across large companies, smaller companies. Some flexi cap funds also invest in foreign companies. So those kind of funds you should consider when you are starting your investment journey. You should not straight away go into like small cap funds or direct stock investing, because as a beginner that may not work for you, right, in the long run. So you should always focus on like saving more, and that you should start your investing with index and flexi cap funds, right? And probably I'll make a separate video on that where I'll talk more about the mutual funds, and probably I'll also share the mutual funds which I am investing in. And the next is like, you need to be disciplined. So once you start your investment journey, you need to stick to it. Whatever monthly amount you are investing, you should continue investing irrespective of whether market is going up, down, or whatever be the current global economic scenario, right? What you need to understand is that disciplined investing is very boring, right? But that is something which has proven to give you result over a longer period of time, right? So you need to stick to that, right? So that discipline is required, that consistency is required. And your goal should be, you should be able to reach that corpus you can, even if you withdraw just 3-4% of your corpus annually, it should be able to meet your day-to-day expenses, right? So probably I'll make a separate video with all the calculation and everything based on your saving, how we can reach till that goal. But I just wanted to cover that what is the final goal of financial independence. So that we'll cover in detail in a separate video. So if you want to get regular updates on next upcoming videos on FIRE, please subscribe to my channel. If you like this video, hit the like button, and also share with your friends, colleagues who you think might be interested in this topic. I'll see you in the next video.